Hello, my lovely people. Happy Friday. Just thank you for joining us wherever you are in the world today. But yes, my name is Lisa, and I am excited to have you here. For a second, if you could do a favor, I'm gonna mute some people just because there's some background noise. But yes, welcome. My name is Lisa Vo. I am the co-founder of Real Estate Coaching Collective. Super excited to have my good friend Nicolas Mourra here, and he's here on the East Coast, so it's not so early for him. It is a little bit for me, but Nicolas is a really cool guy, and if you don't know him, you're gonna get to know him pretty soon in the next 20 minutes. But let me introduce Nicolas. Nicolas Mourra is a co-founder of Leaf 360 with extensive experience in the mortgage origination and software development. He is specializing in helping brokerages and loan officers simplify their technology, connecting their systems, scaling their business effectively. And through the 360, he has developed really deep integrations with platforms like Follow Up Boss and Arrive to also eliminate the busy work it takes to, help you provide visibility at every stage of the mortgage process. So today he's going to share his expertise on how to build out systems that works while you close. So feel free to unmute yourself later on. If you are in a noisy environment, I just, say that please mute yourself if you are able to, unmute whenever you need to, but go ahead and show your video. We'd love to see your bright, lovely faces on this beautiful Friday morning. And we'd love for you to engage throughout the whole session. So if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. I will monitor that. And with that being said, welcome, Nicolas, and I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you so much, Lisa. I really appreciate it. And guys, just a quick silent round of applause for Lisa for putting this together, obviously. Lisa, very good friend of mine, got to know her just recently, and it's just been nothing short of great, and I really just appreciate the opportunity to be here. So thank you, Lisa, and obviously, guys, make sure to tune in for future Real Estate Coaching Collective calls that Lisa's going to be doing. She's doing a ton of these, but once again, Lisa gave me a very nice introduction, so I actually just want to open up with one of my favorite quotes. I love this quote, and it says, "We fall to the level of our systems, not our hard work." And growing up, my family's always been involved in the mortgage industry. My dad started in 2000, and I was born in 2000, to give you reference. So, and I always grew up seeing how much time and energy the mortgage industry really took out of my dad. And not in a bad way, because it's provided so much for us. But at the same time, it was always hard work, and yet no systems. My dad was, running a one-man shop for a long time. And it wasn't until 2017 that he started using Follow Up Boss. I was 17 years old at the time. And the reason was because he had a bunch of agent partners that were using the platform. And he loved it. But once again, he was so busy running his business, he never had the time to build it out. Fast forward to 2019, I joined the brokerage. We were a small company, me, my dad, my mom, and our cousin. And when I saw Follow Up Boss, I said, man, this is nice. I really want to see what we can do with this, because we were using Arrive at the time as our loan origination system. And a lot of the mortgage CRMs out there were just very expensive, and they didn't provide the same kind of support that Follow Up Boss seemed to offer for the agents. So we said, hey, let's see what we can do, and if maybe we could build this out for our mortgage side. And lo and behold, we had a ton of agent partners that were using Follow Up Boss. So it gave us all the more incentive to want to work where they were at, because we said, we don't want to work where loan officers are at. If the majority of our business is coming from realtors, we want to work where they're at. And that really inspired us to build out Follow Up Boss, connect it to Arrive, and even Lending Pad, and really create a system that was the ultimate mortgage CRM for us, that had all of our systems talking, that was updating our realtors in live time and our clients, and ultimately saving us time. One of the biggest issues that I noticed that a lot of loan officers face, and even real estate agents, is time. And if we're being honest, in my opinion, the biggest form of wealth is not just money, but it's time. If I told you that you could get back 5-6 hours a day, but it cost you a little bit of your salary, you probably wouldn't be too upset about that. I know I wouldn't, for sure. But we're not going to talk about getting back time and costing you salary, obviously, because Follow Up Boss is an extremely affordable solution. So I want to talk to you guys today about how we've built out the system to not only make it affordable, but also make sure that we can help you save time. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and share my screen and kind of show you guys what I'm talking about, so you guys don't have to keep staring at my face over here. Let me get this open. So first and foremost, let me know if you guys can see my screen. Lisa, is that coming up okay?
Yep.
Awesome. Perfect. So guys, this is Follow Up Boss. And for those of you that have not seen it, it is primarily a real estate first CRM. However, They've made tons and tons of updates in the last few years to really make this an amazing platform for mortgage loan officers, brokers, whatever you want to call yourselves. And what you guys are looking at is what we typically call a Kanban view. Now, what's happening here is that as loan officers, we know that we don't just want to track one or two different transactions with our clients. We want to track multiple because we're doing purchase, we're doing investments, we're doing refis. So one client is not just one opportunity, there are multiple opportunities. And what I like about Follow Up Boss, because we allow it to talk to the loan origination system, it can keep track of each individual loan application that a client does and track that as its own deal. Now, this may sound like gibberish, but I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. So you'll notice, obviously, for those of you that are in the mortgage industry, you might recognize these stages up here: loan setup, disclose, submitted to underwriting. I mean, these are universal for any loan officer. But you'll notice over here under file setup, we have two different Tony Stark deals. Now, you're probably wondering why are there duplicates? And then you have one in submitted to underwriting and even one in conditional approval. They're not actual duplicates. What's happening is the system recognizes that there's multiple loan applications that are tied to the same borrower in Arrive or LendingPad or any loan origination system that's connected, and it's creating those as individual deals that are tied to the borrower. If I were to open up this deal, I can actually see my team on here. I can see the people that are associated with the transaction, which I'll go into, and this is all automated for you. So it makes it really easy as you're updating your loan origination system, which we know is the heart of the business, right? This is where we collect documents. This is where we run credit, run BU. This is where all the magic happens, obviously, before you get it into the lender's portal. But that's where all the updates are happening. I don't want to have to come into my system and then go ahead and update my CRM after I've updated my my LOS. That's just redundant. Or worse, I don't even want my processor to update the system, and now I go into my CRM and I don't know what's going on. So because the systems are talking, it doesn't matter who's updating it, whether it's an Arrive or LendingPad, whatever LOS you're using, those updates push into Follow Up Boss in live time. To show you guys what I'm talking about, I want to open up Tony Stark's profile over here. And now this is Tony Stark. He's one of my favorite demo clients, Mr. Iron Man himself. And obviously, once again, if you're not used to Follow Up Boss, this may seem like a lot, but what I love about Follow Up Boss is it's all on one page. It's a very simple UI. Everything is where you need it to be. You don't have to click around in a bunch of places. But one thing I really want to focus on is we talked a lot about managing the deals. If you notice on the right side here where I'm highlighting, you can actually see multiple deals tied to an individual client. What's the benefit of that? Once again, I'm not just doing 1, 2, or 3 different transactions of a client. If I'm in this business for the long run, I may be doing 5 or 6 different transactions of a client. Doesn't matter what type of, whether it's a purchase or refi. So being able to, at a quick glance, keep track of the client's information and seeing all those deals where I can have automations running, where I can reference it if I'm calling or texting the client, those are priceless. I mean, information is wealth, guys. I can't tell you how many times when I was originating that I would call a past client from 2 years ago, and I was able to open up one of these little deals and then reference exactly the transaction, reference the notes from the client's profile if I went into here. I mean, it's just a game changer. Once again, guys, we want to save time. We don't want to add to our plate. Now, just going into like the client's profile, for those of you that are new to Follow Up Boss, because of the integration, as everything is being updated in the origination system, all that information is pulling in through here. You have the client's full name, information, you have the details of the client on the left side. We can pull in notes, emails, calls, and text messages. I'll show you guys an example file really quickly, just so you can see. Oh, that's our deleted one. My apologies. I have 2. Sorry about that. But you can see all the communications pulling in. And once again, these communications are pulling in also from the loan origination system. So if your processor, your loan partner is sending out emails, or you're sending out emails, all that is tracked within the client's profile. Text messages, calls, notes, it's all there, and it's all very simple for you to see as well. Moving on, outside of the borrower's profile, I don't want to dive too deep into this, guys. I don't want to bore you guys, but another thing that I really, really recommend for any mortgage company, it doesn't matter what CRM you're using, but Follow Up Boss makes this easy, is taking your business and putting it into buckets. Do any of you still use spreadsheets by any chance? Can I get a show of hands if anybody has their video camera on? All right. I still use spreadsheets for certain things, right? And we're guilty of it. And it's not easy to transition from using spreadsheets. We think spreadsheets are a game changer because I have all these different columns, right? I have all this information that I have access to at a quick glance. However, this is where I think that Follow-Up Boss is truly a game changer, and where it not only just replaces spreadsheets, but it can also enhance your spreadsheets if you really are married to them. So what we've done is, for mortgage companies, we have this setup where we pretty much break your entire business into buckets. You have your leads, which is anybody that's pre-application. You have your prospects, which is anybody that's applied, pre-qualified, pre-approved. That's what we call a prospect. I know the lingo is different for everybody, so please don't crucify me if you call your prospects leads. I get it all the time. Processing is really just active under contract. Closings is your past closings, and I'll get into the rest after. But the idea behind Follow-Up Boss is that what I think a lot of mortgage brokers fall short is our leads. We talk a lot about, I have 90 million in funded and I have X amount in closings, but how many do you actually have sitting? How much volume do you have sitting in your leads pipeline? Do a lot of us track that? Can I get a show of hands for anybody that tracks how much volume they have sitting in their leads pipeline? Clients that did not move forward, or clients that you have not gotten to apply and get started in the process. I'm not seeing a lot of hands, so I'm going to assume no. And it's not easy because, once again, when you're using spreadsheets and you're using notes on your phone, it's very difficult to track. But what I like about Follow-Up Boss is it ties into so many different systems. What I can do is I can create individual smart lists, or what we call you can call it subfolders if you want, where essentially I can keep track of my leads. And here, for example, based on different filters that I've created that will move the clients in and out of here. To give you guys an example, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a fake lead right here. And we're going to give it a fake email just to show you guys what I'm talking about. So I just created this new person, and now they show up in my new leads list. That's great. Anytime that I create a new lead, they come in from my website, they're going to show up here. But now let's say that I want to send this client the mortgage application, and I want to send them it for a purchase. All I need to do is make sure that I tag that client as a purchase potential client. And as soon as I change that stage to application pending, it's going to automatically send them an email. And what it's going to do is it's going to take them out of my new leads list and move them over to my application pending list. So I promise it's not magic, guys, and you'll notice it recognizes it's a fake email. But what's happening is the system uses different filters to recognize clients based on tags, stages, custom fields. You can get very complex, but I like to keep it simple. And instead of you having to manually drag and move clients and change them to the next stage and whatnot, the system will recognize whenever there's an update and move them to the next appropriate folder for you. Now, I'm going to do one more thing, and I'm going to actually change this email so it doesn't bounce again. But let's say this client were to apply. How often do we invite clients to apply and they actually don't move forward? What's happening is the automation that's running is it's automatically sending the client an email on a weekly basis, as long as it recognizes that they have not applied in the loan origination system. Now, imagine that client were to apply at 2 a.m. You're sleeping, right? And all of a sudden they apply, but they still continue to get an email saying, hey, complete your mortgage application. That would look really bad, in my opinion. It looks like you're not even up to date on your own things. So as the file is being updated from the loan origination system, I'm going to do this manually, but you can imagine that it's happening automatically. Once the stage changes to applied, you'll notice over here that it paused the previous automation and it triggered the next email, which if I refresh it over here, it actually sends them a quick email just saying, hey, thanks so much for applying with us. And what would also happen is it would create a deal card. Now I'm doing this manually because we're not obviously doing a full live thing here. But what would happen is it would create a deal associating the borrower with that loan application. It would stop the previous automation. And now rec test is no longer in my application pending list. Guess where they're at? Now they're in my applied list. And with Follow-Up Boss, you could set all sorts of reminders and triggers just to let you know, hey, this client was moved from here to there. And it really is going to help you save a lot of time in your business. So I'll take a quick pause there, just in terms of the automation aspect. Lisa, I don't know if there was any questions that you wanted me to answer as well, or if I can continue on. I wasn't looking at the chat.
Yeah, no questions so far, so I think you are free to continue.
Okay, awesome. So guys, that's just a little small snippet of the automation capability that Follow-Up Boss provides, especially for mortgage companies. Can I get a show of hands? Does anybody manually type out application emails when you want to invite a client to apply, or a thanks for taking the time to speak with me? Are a lot of you using templates, or are we just kind of typing those out every time? What does that look like? If I can get a show of hands. Okay. And I see your face, Lisa. You're not happy about raising your hand. And the way I like to say it, because obviously we want to we don't want to replace ourselves in terms of a system doing everything for us. I'm a very personal person. I like picking up the phone. I like calling, right? I love that personal aspect. I mean, I grew my business by doing open houses and shaking hands with people. That's the way I was taught. I like the old school way. But if I can replace a lot of the little things that I'm doing on a daily basis, such as, hey, thanks for speaking. Hey, come apply. And not having to remind myself, create task and remind yourself to send the application invite email. I mean, that is redundant if you ask me. And I know a lot of us are doing it. It's like, oh my God, I forgot to send it. Like, that's just ridiculous. Why not let the system do it for you? And why not let the system recognize that the client has moved on to the next stage? So you don't need to say, oh shoot, did I stop that previous campaign from running? Let's talk about pre-approvals, for example. Pre-approvals are super important. Imagine that you have a client that was being pre-qualified and then you pre-approve them in your loan origination system, yet they're still getting document requests from your system. That would be ridiculous. We probably wouldn't want that to happen. As you're updating these clients, once again, it's stopping and starting the next automation. It's triggering the next email sequences, the next reminders, the next push notification to remind you to pick up the phone. So once again, guys, just going back to my quote, we don't fall to the level of our hard work, we fall to the level of our systems, okay? If you were to be sick and you weren't able to make it into work for a week, how would your business fare without you? I know that because my systems are running pretty nice, probably take a little bit of a dip because I'm sick for a week, like that would really suck. But at the very least, I know my systems will be moving for me for the most part. I saw a quick question. I just wanted to address this on the first screen. Yes, everything in here is customizable, guys. So that's also something I want to make very clear. Follow-up boss, and you can ask Lisa. She's done some pretty amazing things with it. It's very customizable to the point where you can. These are just blueprints, is what I call it. This is just a standard setup, right? But this is all fully customizable. For example, if I go to the deal section over here, you can add a ton of stages in here. For clients that are in between process, for example, such as maybe credit repair or long-term nurture. So this is all fully customizable, guys. This is not just one rigid system where everything is strict and you have to adhere to it. That's another thing I love about Follow Up Boss is I talk about this a lot. We don't want to have to cater to our system. We want the system to cater to us. And I think the system does a great job at catering to our business as mortgage professionals, especially.
I will also caveat, if you are trying to make these stage changes, you do have to be the owner of the account.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. If you're going to be creating new stages and customizing the system, you do have to have admin privileges. So yes, thank you for sharing that, Lisa. And I didn't know if somebody else had raised their hand. I thought I saw another question come up.
No, I think it's just Lee's question. We're good. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Awesome. So obviously, just to recap, outside of the deals and outside of the people section, once again, Follow Up Boss is really great in that sense. Let's open up the actual client's profile. Another thing that I really like about the platform, that especially for mortgage companies, which I think is very useful, is the custom field section. You're able to essentially customize every single client profile exactly how you would want it. So if we have the system connected to your loan origination system, you can pull in all sorts of details such as appraisal status, dates and whatnot, loan contingency dates. You'll notice over here in the embedded application that we have, you can actually track the status of the client within the system itself. So it is a very useful tool. This is something that you can use for your realtor partners as well. So if you are working with agents that are using Follow Up Boss or any other CRM, it can connect to them to push updates to their system. I think that's one of the biggest things that as a loan officer, we really long for, is a system that can not only just update our clients, but it can also update our realtors and our referral partners. I saw a question, does it follow up realtors? Yes, so that's exactly what I was leaning into, Shlaine. Follow Up Boss, you can create all sorts of automations. For example, I keep a list of all my business partners, and I also keep a list of all my realtors. So it segments them, and I can create even a more segmented list that says, for example, I want to see everybody that's coming from Miles Morales, which is one of my favorite realtors. That's Spider-Man. So what I do is, once again, I segment my database based on how I want it, and Follow Up Boss replicates it. When it comes to email, marketing and drip campaigns for agents, one of my favorite things as well with the system is that when it comes to the batch emails, you can track everything. So you can see who you sent it out to, who opened it, who clicked on it, who unsubscribed, and who bounced. And you'll notice my last email that went out, I had 0 unsubscribes. I call that a win. I think that's pretty impressive. So I'm pretty happy about that. But once again, yes, it does do a great job at managing the business partner referral relationship. And obviously, we want to make sure that we're staying in front of our business partners. And as a note on that, you don't want a system that just sends out generic email marketing. That's not good, because you don't want to sound like every other loan officer in front of your agents. Hey, I have the best rates. Like, nothing wrong with bragging about your rates, but if everybody has the best rates, who really has the best rates? Like, have we ever thought to ask ourselves that question? Who really has the best rates if everybody says they have the best rates? So what I like about Follow Up Boss is, once again, the cadences, the workflows, the automations are very easy to build out. And it's really easy to put your own personal twist into it and make sure that you're staying in front of your agent partners how you want to stay in front of them. And it's not predetermined by some marketing campaign that the system has built out for you that you can't change. The real magic is getting all of lead generation, outreach, and partner activities in FUB. Also, can you explain if your business allows you this, and if so, how you operate this? Okay, sorry, Todd, I'm gonna have to reread your question again. The real magic is getting all of lead generation, outreach, and partner activities, which is absolutely true. Yes, that is definitely possible. Follow Up Boss, you can pull in all sorts of leads and business partners and anybody from forms, websites, inquiries. Can you explain if your business allows us this, and if so, how do you operate this? Absolutely. So I think I'm going to answer Todd's question here. What I typically like to do is, obviously within Follow Up Boss, we have it linked up to pretty much every online source that we have, whether it's Google PPC, Facebook ads, our website. So anytime a lead comes in, we actually have this section in Follow Up Boss called lead flows, and these are really great because you can track specific sources and have specific automations or action plans that go out to those sources. So I can have an initial text message that goes out to the leads that enter the system. I can have for example, let's go over here, a website inquiry thing where it's 3 steps that sends out an email to the client that shoots me a reminder to talk to them, and it also sends them a text message. So when it comes to bringing in people and managing that automation, it's definitely possible with Follow Up Boss, and they make it very easy. Hopefully I answered your question, Todd. I'm not sure if that answered. You're muted, Todd, if you're asking a question, sorry.
Yeah, do you mind if I just expand a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. Lisa, are we good to go into the question? Yeah. Yep. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's a lot of activity and a lot of steps and a lot of involvement on somebody raising their hand and saying, yes, I'm interested.
Yes.
To becoming an application, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, we know what realtor CRMs look like, and activities and outreach and nurture plans and all that. Do you build that same process into Follow Up Boss like a traditional realtor?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we build it like a traditional broker. So, like I said, just going back to our experience, my dad, Nicolas Mourra, if you've ever heard of him, obviously co-founder of Leak 360. He's been in the mortgage industry for a long time. And when we first built out Follow Up Boss, it was actually for our realtor partners to allow them to get into our system, and because we were working with them, but then we eventually actually really built it out for ourselves. So all the automations, all the cadences are very mortgage specific. We don't really have any realtor specific cadences or campaigns, I'll be honest. It's mostly mortgage focused.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I say we don't have any realtor, I don't mean for realtors. I just mean it's for the mortgage broker. But when it comes to realtor partners and marketing to them, absolutely, that's part of it. Shane, you asked can you integrate video with the system? Yes, absolutely, you can. When it comes to video, especially if you're using sources like BombBomb, or even if you want to embed a YouTube video, or you want to put like a flyer and link a video, you absolutely can. This can be done on manual emails or templated emails that are automated to go out. So you can have a newsletter campaign that you send for, like, imagine you're adding a new business partner, and anytime that you add a new realtor in your system, or they automatically come in from an inquiry or a lead source, it would automatically trigger a campaign to have a series of 4 emails that go out over the span of a month that is just introducing you to them. So that's absolutely possible. Any other questions? Yeah, I want to be very respectful of Lisa's time. So I know I want to just open up the floor for any questions for anybody that, if there's any features or questions they had about the system, the integration aspect, anything that I can answer for you guys.
Just out of curiosity. Mm-hmm. Oh, go ahead, Todd.
I'm sorry, just last question. You
Yes,
covered a lot, and a lot of this is really awesome. Is there any resources you can provide or structure on setting this up? I mean, there's a lot of this stuff is detailed, which I love.
Yeah.
But is there any other additional resources, or should we just go back and watch this video on setting this up in our?
No. You can absolutely reach out to me. This is something that we help mortgage companies and with Follow Up Boss, obviously. I'll be more than happy to show you some of our demo videos. If you guys want to just say, hey, I kind of want to take a look at this, we'll be more than happy to share the automations that we have built out. But absolutely, I think Lisa may be sharing my info, or not sure exactly how, but we could definitely connect, and we could talk about having this set up for you guys.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that kind of answers Lee's question. What does the personalized onboarding look like versus DIY?
Yeah, okay. So I'll go into that. Obviously, the personalized onboarding, this is something that we've been really building out for a few years. Oh, actually, Lisa, it's leaf360.com now. We changed the domain.
Oh,
yeah, no,
awesome.
but yeah, so we've been building this out for a few years. So as far as the onboarding goes, if you're working with Leaf360, what we do is we set up the full integration between the Loan Origination System and Follow Up Boss. This includes the full Follow Up Boss setup, meaning all the automations, all the smart lists, all the campaigns, and then obviously personalized onboarding and coaching. I don't believe in just live. I'm sorry, I don't believe in sending you to watch training videos. I'm more of a one-on-one work with you and teach you how to use the system kind of person, because I believe that every single mortgage brokerage or bank, whatever you want to call it, is different, and they all run their business differently. So we really want to take the time to understand your needs, understand what it is that you're looking for, and then obviously help you guys build out the system to your liking.
And then Lee also asked, additionally, how does this differ from or add on to the Leaf 360 program?
Yeah, so Leaf360, we are an integrated platform or an embedded application within Follow Up Boss. So the benefit of working with us is that you're not having to work in multiple systems. You're only working, once again, in your loan origination system and your CRM. Leaf360 works in the background between the integrations, the automations. Everything is happening on the back end because we are embedded in Follow Up Boss's platform. And even the third-party communications of your realtors and whatnot, that's all happening in the background, meaning you're not logging into multiple different systems, getting confused and asking yourself where you need to work. Everything you see that I showed you is where you're working in. Leaf360, I like to say we're like a ghost, you know? You don't really see us, but we're doing a whole lot.
I love that. Just out of curiosity, how many, I guess, like loan originations have you ran personally through your own Follow Up Boss?
Oh, are you saying like, I'm sorry, are you saying how many loans have I done? Oh, wow, I wish I would have been prepared. I can give you guys my NMLS ID if you guys want to see it. It's quite a bit, 2025540, but a couple hundred, in a few years. So when I first started originating, I was a loan partner, and my dad told me, get out on the street, go do open houses and shake some hands. And he said, everybody that you talk to, put them in Follow Up Boss. And I was like, why do we have to do this? Like, why am I throwing everybody into the system? Like, what's the point? I can do it on my phone. And he told me, if you're going to get to 10, 20 loans a month, how can you manage all of that on your personal phone? And I was like, man, that's crazy. You're right. Because I can barely manage conversations with my friends and family, let alone, the way I like to say it, if I'm doing 10 loans a month, that's really 3 people on each transaction that I'm talking to. Buyer, buyer's agent, seller's agent. Minimum. That's not even including the title company, transaction coordinator that you have to talk to, all those. So let's just say 5 people. If you're doing 10 loans, that's 30 to 50 people a month that you are talking to. Wouldn't you want a system that can help you out with that? I know I would. So I'm definitely very grateful to him for doing that. But yeah. And
awesome.
Lisa, I'll link this in the chat if that's okay. This is just like a specific page that we have for the for Follow Up Boss as well. So I'll go. Is that okay if I link that in the chat?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. If you guys want to check that out, you know, we have all the information there.
Fantastic.
I've got a question. So I'm
Yes, sir.
an existing Follow Up Boss user, but like, how do you integrate with the data I already have to, like, when we put everybody in these buckets, they don't just get like automations sent out?
No. That's I'm so happy you asked that, Brian. That's one of the biggest things is for anybody that we work with and we personally onboard, we provide all the automations right off the bat, but we don't turn them on right away until we meet and we really distinguish who do we want to turn on automations for. So we help you clean up your database, obviously. For those of you that are not on Follow Boss and coming from different systems, we also help you transfer all your data. And there's no like extra cost for that. That's part of obviously our setup. So making sure that all your data is in the right places to where it needs to be. And that way, when the automations get turned on, you're not blasting out emails to people that shouldn't be receiving those emails.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Awesome. Maybe we'll do one more question if anybody has it before we end. Okay. Any discounts on that $299 onboarding? LOL.
We'll see. Go ahead and reach out to us.
We'll see how nice Nicholas and Christian are that day. But we are super. I've seen this presentation multiple times, and I still love Leaf 360. I'm trying to figure out how to get my transaction management piece to connect with them. So hopefully we can have something like that in the future. But yeah, I agree. I've been using Follow Boss for about 10 years, and I am still finding new things every single day. It's the one thing that's ran multiple businesses for me, from consulting, not just to real estate and transaction coordinating, but everything just all in one. So I manage about 15 different Follow Boss accounts every single day. It's a lot of logging in back and forth between Google profiles. It is a nightmare for me. So I think having this product to bridge that gap is like super, super smart. So anyways, I thank y'all for joining this morning super early. Again, happy Friday. Enjoy your Easter weekend, whatever it is that you're doing. We will definitely catch you on the next one. If you missed any part of this is going to be recorded, and it's going to be, we're going to do a little bit editing, give you maybe a little bit of homework if you want to just get the transcript and like play around with some things on your own. We'll have that posted to our Follow Boss group as well as our myrecc.com website. But yeah, look out for the future ones. And Nicholas, thank you so much for your time. Keep on doing what you're doing, and we can't wait to see what else Leaf 360 does in the future.
Thank you. And thank you so much for the opportunity, Lisa. Guys, once again, big round of applause for Lisa for obviously hosting this. If you guys want to clap your hands, I know we're all muted, but seriously, please continue to tune in on these because she's doing so much for the community. Even if it's not necessarily related to what you're looking for, I promise you're going to get something out of these calls. So once again, thank you, Lisa, so much. I appreciate it.
I appreciate that. Thank y'all so much, and have a great weekend.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.